Hello and welcome to this CCB video blog. Now there's a lot of places to fish for bass across this country and in a lot of other countries. But there are some things that remain the same anywhere you fish. And that is you can categorize bass fishermen into just a handful of types. Now I've been fishing for 40 years and I've met all of these types for years. And this was put into a magazine years ago where they're talking about the types of bass fishermen. And it was really funny because I read them all and I laughed because I had definitely met a lot of these people that fit into this handful of types. So today I thought it'd be really fun to kind of go over the types of bass fishermen that you meet when you're out bass fishing. So here we go. Now the first off is the Wannabe Bass Pro. Now I've met a lot of these. I used to do local tournaments. I was part of a lot of local tournaments. And there's just a lot of these people you meet. And well, first off, they always wear their pro style jersey. Even if they're not in a tournament, every time you see them on their boat, and their boat, by the way, is always the top of the line. It's like a 20-foot bass boat. It's only a year or two old. And the funny thing is, on their jersey, their major sponsors are usually their uncle's alternator repair shop and their sister's catering business. And like I said, they always have their boat's top of the line. They fish a lot of tournaments, and they always have the best equipment. How do I know this? Because I said I fished against a lot of them and I talked to a lot of them. And for some reason, when you start talking about their rods and reels, they tell you the price of them. They're like, oh yeah, this one right here, this is a $300 reel, and this is a $400 rod, and oh, this one's a $500 reel, and it's a $600. They have the best of the best. And they also just don't fish the normal baits. No, they're really into the custom baits. They'll start telling you about, oh yeah, these jigs here. Oh yeah, it's this guy I know and he makes the greatest custom jigs. And oh, see these worms right here? Ah, that's another friend of mine. He hand pours these. He's the best worms ever. And oh, crankbaits. Yeah, this guy makes his own crankbaits and he custom paints them. And oh, swim baits. This guy makes his best. It's just that they don't fish anything like off the rack. They have to have the best of the best. Now they talk a big game, but they actually never back any of it up. Fact is, most of these wannabe bass pros never won a penny in any tournament that they've entered. Yeah, that's the Wannabe Bass Pro. They're out there, they got the best equipment, the best stuff. They wear their jersey. They usually have like the best sunglasses, all that, but they have nothing to back it up. All right, let's move on to category number 2, and that is the bank beater. Now this is the guy that longs for a boat, but he relies on his tennis shoes. Now he spends a lot of time wearing down the trails to the best fishing spots. And he will usually wear, camouflage or dark clothing so people don't notice him when he's fishing. And he's really good at, avoiding obstacles like tree limbs and overhanging and ducking down and casting. He's also really good at putting it right on a log that's in the water or a stump or a rock. And trust me, if you're ever around these guys and you're fishing near them and you catch a couple fish and they're not catching fish, you're suddenly going to start hearing stories about all the fish they've caught just the other day at this lake or that lake or their friend's pond. And then this will usually lead to them coming over to you, pulling out their phone, and spending a half hour showing you picture after picture after picture of the bass they caught the other day, the bass they caught last week, the bass they caught here, bass they caught at this lake. And I've had these people on my shows. I've been filming a show from shore and these people come over. And while I'm filming, suddenly they're talking to me like that, and they're just starting to show me, oh, you got to see this picture. You got to see this picture. Oh, you got to get a picture. Ah, these people are freaking annoying. I call them yahoos, but yeah, the bank beaters that just, I don't really give a rat's ass about the fish you caught yesterday or a week ago or a couple days ago. I've caught 3 fish while I've been talking to you. I'd really be impressed if you caught a fish today at this lake while I'm here. And then if you ask them, well, have you caught any today? And they go, oh no, well this isn't usually my lake. I don't fish this lake. I was just coming here to check it out. But yeah, that's the bank beater. Okay, let's move on to category number 3, and that is the hipster. Now, for me, most of the new up-and-coming influencers on YouTube and fishing channels, they're the hipsters. They either wear a visor or a big oversized hat. They have every fishing shirt in every single color. And every rod and reel they have is usually a combo, and it's color matched, with whatever's the flavor of color. Like either it's matching in green or it's matching in yellow or blue. And then all the baits they fish. All the baits are the popular baits. It's got to be like, well, in this day and age, like cougar baits or the whopper plopper or some sort of spinnerbait or some sort of frog, or they have to have the best, most hip lures on YouTube. And the reality is, most of these people that are in the category of the hipsters, they have to be stylish, they have to wear the best glasses, the best hat, they're usually the ones that have only been fishing for like 2 or 3 years for bass. They just kind of got into bass fishing, and then they saw YouTube and they started following people, and all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can create a bass fishing channel, I can be all hip, I can fish all the popular stuff. I'll get tons of views, I'll start going up, I'll get tons of subscribers, I'll start making money. But the reality is, a lot of the hipsters don't. I've seen ones that don't even know the difference between a Colorado blade and a willow blade. And they're often not knowing stuff like that. But yeah, alright, that's the hipsters. They're more into it to the style and being all cool. And usually when you meet them, they will have, even if they're on shore walking around, they will have 15 rods. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty big category right now, is the hipsters. Okay, so let's move on to the last category, and that is the ringer. Now this is a guy that shows up to the lake. He's in like old overalls, an old ratty shirt. If he has a boat, it's pretty much considered an antique. The boat's probably 30, 40 years old, and that goes as well with his tackle. He will usually have rod and reel combos that are like 10, 15 years old. And the same thing with his baits. He will have baits that are tried and true, baits he's used forever, baits that always catch him fish. And it's not just, it's not the trendy baits or anything like that. It's the baits that have always worked. And he'll usually have it in a tackle box, one of those old tackle boxes. You know those like big ones, those big plastic ones? And you clip them and you fold the thing down, and then you grab it and you fold the things up, and it's got all the trays going down on each side. And then you have the bottom where you have your other baits in that. Yeah, that guy. And even if he doesn't have a boat and he's on shore, it's going to be the same way. He's going to have that big old tackle box that he carries around to every spot. But the fact is, that's the guy that always catches fish and always catches the biggest fish. He doesn't care about tournaments. He doesn't care about flashy rods. He doesn't care about being stylish. He just cares about what you're supposed to be doing in bass fishing. And that is going there and catching bass. And yes, of all the categories, I probably fit into the ringer guy. I'll be honest. Alright, so that's going to do it for this little video blog. Hope you guys liked it. I want it to be entertaining and fun. And who knows, you might see yourself in one of these categories, but hey, all the categories are fishing. We're supporting it. We're out there. We're doing our thing. So I don't mean to be offensive to anybody, but yeah, you probably find yourself fitting in or whatever. But like I said, they're supporting bass fishing. They're out there. They're buying the product, supporting the industry, and that's all good. See you next time.
That was terrific!
Great! Yeah! Best fish! Fantastic! Yeah, it's really great! Really pisky, yeah.